I'm willing to change my life, willing to shine a little light. I know the change may not come today, but it'll be worth the wait. I'm willing, yes, I'm willing. I've been spending some time alone, way out of my comfort zone. I can't keep doing the same old thing, expecting it to turn out a different way. Yes, I'm willing to change my life, willing to shine a little light. I know that change may not come today, but it'll be worth the wait. Yes, I'm willing, I'm willing. Yes, I'm willing, I'm willing. Going out on a limb today, feels like I'm finding my way. I was riding the wrong way down a one-way street. I realized I'm in the driver's seat. I'm willing to change my life, willing shine a little light. I know the change may not come today, but it'll be worth the wait. Yes, I'm willing, I'm willing. Life is my teacher, time is my friend. I'm gonna follow my heart till the end. Ain't no stop sign on this road. The further I get, the lighter my load. I'm willing to change my life, willing to shine a little light. I know the change may not come today, but it'll be worth the wait. Yes, I'm willing, I'm willing, I'm willing, I'm willing.
Thank you, Robert. That was beautiful. So today, Robert is going to be our musician, and Opal James is probably downstairs. She's going to be sharing a prayer. Here she is. She's going to be sharing a prayer with us today. And I'm Lori Smith. I'm the spiritual leader here at Unity on the Avenue. And I just want to welcome all of you. Thank you for being here this morning. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm so glad we're all here together. And I would just say your light, your energy, your love is what makes this place so special. So thank you for being here.
All right, ready to sing? All right. Donald's going to help me out. I'll sing a line and then you just sing it right back at me. So simple. All is well in my soul. All is well in my soul. Wherever I am, wherever I go, all is well in my soul, in my soul. All right, sounds great. You're hired. All is well in my soul. All is well living in love and letting it flow. All is well in my soul. Nice. All is well in my soul. All is well in my soul. When I let God and then I let go, all is well in my soul. Okay, I'm pretty sure we can do this a cappella. Here we go. All is well in my soul. All is well in my soul. Wherever I am, wherever I go, all is well in my soul. All is well in my soul, in my soul.
That is perfect for today. So, won't you join me in our statement of faith? There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Our spoken word today has to do with releasing. And to be able to live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it close to your heart, knowing your life depends on it. And then when the time has come to let it go to the great beyond, knowing that everything is eternal. For acceptance, let's know, is a powerful word, for it implies a willingness to listen and to be open. Acceptance does not necessarily mean that you adopt another's viewpoints. It means you accept the right to have views that are different from your own. And in today's world, let us relax and just welcome and love one another. No, better than love one another, let's be kind to one another, because the word love, I feel, is overused. But when we accept people of different faith, different cultures, and lifestyle, for each person, we are all children of the divine, children of God, divinely created and divinely guided. Accept yourself as this child. Do not judge yourself harshly by past mistakes or perceived shortcomings, for we all have shortcomings. So love yourself. And you have a unique point of view, and continue to learn and grow as spiritual beings having a human experience. By accepting yourself and others, you embrace all differences. Celebrate the uniqueness of each individual because we're all one in the light of God. From Matthew chapter 7, verse 1, it says, "Do not judge so that you may not be judged, and know that you are inspired and guided by the light of God." And so it is, and so we are. Amen.
I will surrender to my greatest highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free. As I continue walking in this mystery. Surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks on my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. Surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am kinder every moment, every day. And I'm more loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
was beautiful. That really touched my heart. So I usually start off with a joke to lift your spirits. And so I'll tell you a joke about an atheist who has a conversation with his son about religion. And so the next day, I'm sorry, you guys, I went to a service project yesterday and spoke over the music, so it's worse than usual. But so the next day, the young man goes and he talks to his friends about this topic on religion, and his friends tell him all about the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So he goes back to his dad and he said, "Dad, there are 3 gods." And his dad said, "Son, there is only one God, and we do not believe in him." Because he's an atheist, right? So, all right, so my talk today is the healing power of release and awakening the extraordinary within. So our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, unveiled 12 powers of man. And he was studying Jesus and the disciples, and he realized that they have these powers that just correspond to each one of the disciples. So there are 12 of those. And then as he studied more, he realized that we men also have these 12 powers, and they help us manifest our very highest being. And so this year, we've talked about one power each month. We've talked about faith, strength, love, imagination, power, understanding, wisdom, will, order, and zeal. So today, we're going to talk about the healing power of release. And it's really like spiritually liberating and freeing. And as I read over the materials on that, I really feel like this is a very important part of our spiritual development. So I'm excited to have a chance to talk about it today. Release is what allows us to be invested in life without any undue attachments. Just be present to the moment. And it's when we let go of material possessions that we really don't need, when we let go of resentments and thoughts that hinder us and hold us back, and beliefs that really no longer serve us. So sometimes we have expectations about how the world should be, how our relationships should be, how things should be happening. And sometimes they don't quite work out for us, and those are the times we need to just release those expectations. But I was thinking about this particular one, and has anyone ever purchased something that comes in a box, maybe 1 or 2 boxes, and they're for you to put together, assemble? Yes. And you have the expectation that all the pieces and all the parts and all the screws are going to be in those boxes, right? You have that expectation. So Scott and my husband Scott and I were helping our son and daughter-in-law put together this shed. They were going to store their tools in it. And we worked on it like all morning long, putting all the pieces together, reading the directions. And we get to the bottom of the directions and realize a part of the roof is missing. So it's like all these, your preconceived ideas about it's all going to be right there for us, and it's not. So sometimes we just have to let go of that, and we want to let go of any kind of clinging or grasping, holding on to a great desire to control an outcome, because it's rather futile to fight that, right? So we have to do that. So the disciple that represents release is called, his name was Judas Thaddeus, and they believe he was the brother of Jesus. He wrote the Epistle of Jude, which it's really great because when we were back at Unity Village, we were able to get a book, and it's on the New Testament that Charles Fillmore had written. So he's got all these notes in it. You can read up on what that is, and it's in the back of that book, and it's pretty interesting. It's rather short, but it's powerful. So he had addressed this to the Christians in the Holy Land and Syria. And the purpose of the epistle was to denounce false prophets that had gained entrance entrance into the churches, and they were replacing the gospel message with some false teachings. So his hopes were, by writing this letter, that he was going to be able to restore the true Christian teachings that he wanted his church to have. So there are times that even we must cast out false or erroneous thoughts from our minds that are negatively impacting our health and our happiness and our peace of mind. So the work of this disciple was very similar to the unity practice of what we call denials, and we usually follow them up with an affirmation. But the practice of denials is the rejection of thoughts and beliefs that we realize are contrary to spiritual truths. Thank you. It's helpful to be aware of our thoughts. We just finished up a really great class on Prosperity Plus. And one of the things she mentioned was notice what you're noticing. Like, pay attention to your thoughts. Sometimes they're just kind of randomly going through our head, and are we really paying attention to them? We don't want to be on autopilot, right? So we need to be aware of our thoughts and to challenge any false or limiting thoughts through denials. We want to question the assumptions we make. How often do we make assumptions about something and they're not correct? So we just want to be sure to question that. Is it actually true? Do we have evidence of these thoughts? And if we don't, we need to make sure that we release those, because they give us kind of a misguided way of moving forward, right? Because they're based on things that are not true. So then we want to claim the truth and follow that with an affirmation. We want to bring to light our divine identity and just focus on our divine nature. We don't want to be distracted by these false beliefs. So sometimes we hear voices in our heads of fear, worry, grievances, regrets, judgments, anger, and attachments, and we get rather preoccupied with those. And then we aren't able to focus on what's happening right now, to be open to what is happening in our life and be receptive to what the universe brings to us. This particular slide, actually I found this through ChatGPT, but I wanted to point out the fact that she is releasing possessions, resentments, old beliefs. She's letting those go. Because if we hold these negative feelings inside, it really impacts our state of mind and our health and well-being. Because as we hold on to those, it does affect our body. It affects the chemicals in our body. It affects our thoughts. And so we want to be able to let go of those. And we'll be talking about each one of those topics today. So as we unclutter our physical space and our minds, we make room for something greater to unfold. We are more open, receptive to the present gifts of the moment and opportunities that life may offer to us. So the power of release is more than just letting go of something or getting rid of something. First, it's giving thanks or having gratitude for the gift of the material possession or a memory of a situation. Because otherwise you may find yourself just getting rid of stuff, as if there's no value to it, as if there was no point to it, as if you never really gained anything from it. And that's really not the truth of it. So when we moved to Arizona, I was born and raised there, lived almost all my life there. And I was really looking forward to being here in Colorado, but I was still kind of holding on to the space where I knew and I lived all my life. But we had our house up for sale. And we had an awesome realtor who was showing the house pretty often. And we decided we're going to go ahead and move on to Colorado. Well, he showed that house quite a few times for a long period of time, and we were not getting any offers on the home. And I thought to myself that, because we had really appreciated this home, actually. We loved this home. We had so many great memories. I have to say I was thankful for that home and that space. But I started thinking maybe it's my resistance to giving this up to someone else that's causing some problems here. And it's funny, you don't realize that at first, but I just started thinking about it. That's something that I should be offering it up, because that was then and this is now, and I need to let that go. So I began envisioning this home being used by a new family, someone that's going to get a lot of joy from it, someone who's going to have wonderful family get-togethers like we did. We just had so much fun. And I just started picturing that, and just releasing that to the universe, to the highest and best outcome. And it was not too long after that that we got the offer to sell our home. And it was actually a few months after we'd actually already moved here. So I don't know if it had something to do with it, but it felt like it did. So it's really not a problem to have possessions, except if we are just trying to keep our stuff, or we're spending a whole lot of money to find a place to put it, or trying to protect possessions that maybe we don't even use. I know some people have storage units with so much stuff that they don't know what's in it. And actually, we even went through a period of time like that where we just had it full of stuff, and it's like, what is that anyway? And luckily, Scott said, we got to get rid of this, so we did. But each person really has to decide for yourself if it's time to release a possession and to make room for something maybe more useful, or maybe you just need some extra space, because that spaciousness actually feels pretty good too. So I would encourage you, though, if you decide to do this, that you find a new home for that object, because we don't want that going into a landfill. That's not a good place to move it to. But find a new owner that will appreciate it. And we want to, we just know that some people will find use in that item. So we put it back into circulation, kind of like the laws of giving and receiving, kind of putting it out there. Someone else loves it, uses it, something else comes to us. So the powerful point is, before we release it, we need to receive the gift of it. It's recognizing that all of the experiences in our lives have led us and in some ways shaped us into who we are today. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but we are evolving spiritual beings. And it's the things in our lives, the people in our lives, the situations that we have grown from. And even in the midst of a challenging situation, there are gifts. If we look for them, there are always gifts. So spiritual release is like the first step that moves us from where we're holding a negative energy to finding it within us to forgive and being able to move on to a greater life. There are times when someone has inflicted a very deep wound into our heart, and we hold on to these resentments sometimes for a very long time. And we can hold on to, and we can even find reasons. We'll find justifications, actually, as to why we want to hold on to these. So it's just important to realize what's happening within us and give us a moment, a chance to forgive. And it's important to remember that forgiving doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior. But forgiveness is a release of one's resentment. It's for us. It helps us. When we change our focus from old resentments to divine spirit, we can nurture a forgiving heart. And at the moment we've removed ourselves from the center of the universe and put divine spirit back in charge of our lives, things become aligned, things become balanced, things become much more smoothly and easy, and we can focus on this moment. So letting go of our own past mistakes is about turning away from them. Stop dwelling on them, make what restitution you can, and go on to build something better in mind. It's a conscious mental step to choosing a different path. We have forgiveness from God. We always have that. We know that's in our heart, that we have that. And in unity, we understand grace as the forgiving love of God, which sets us free from past mistakes. Frees us, liberates us. God's grace is free to all. It's not like you have to do something to deserve it. It is for us. And when we have grace from divine spirit, it allows us to offer grace to other people. And that's so important. So there's a Buddhist story of how we suffer from attachment to our expectations. A junior monk and a senior monk were traveling together and walking, and when they came to a river, it had a very strong current, and they were just getting ready to cross it when they noticed this beautiful young woman up the river, and she was so afraid and unsure about crossing the river. So she asked the monks for help, and the two monks just kind of glanced at each other because they had taken a vow not to touch a woman. But the senior monk, without a thought, picks up the young woman and carries her across the river. And then the junior monk was just following behind him. So the senior monk gently places her on the other side of the river, and the two monks continue on their way. So they'd gone like a couple hours. They'd walked along. And the junior monk is like, he could not believe what just happened, because he was like all stirred up inside and upset and kind of ruminating about, why did he do this? He knows we're not supposed to do this. So they walk on for a few hours. And then the junior monk just couldn't hold it in. And he blurts out, as monks, we are not supposed to touch women. And you carried her in your arms. How could you? And the senior monk calmly replied, brother, I sat her down the other side of the river hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? Why are you still carrying her? So how can we be present for life, for what life is bringing us right in this moment, if we're carrying attachments to expectations, old resentments? You know, we want the world, I think we want the world to be how we think it should be, right? Do we not do that? And we want people to behave the way we think they should behave. And that doesn't always happen. So there's my understanding that the Buddhists believe that that's the point of, that's how we suffer, is because we have these attachments. And the junior monk had these big expectations of how the senior monk should act, and then suffered with disappointment for hours because he was holding on to those expectations. So it's our tendency to cling to things and people and ideas, and we seek permanence and control in a world characterized by change. That is the one thing we can be sure of, and impermanence. So it leads to dissatisfaction and distress. And the only way to heal and move forward is to practice the power of release. So Spirit knows our resentments and our attachments, and that we aren't created to suffer in life. So we can allow every moment to be over when it's over. And we can allow every experience to be over when it's over. We can live in a state of just being without judgment. We release old ways of thinking and beliefs that no longer serve us with new concepts and understanding that will be the basis for spiritual growth and development. So that's why this particular power is so important. I think that helps move us forward when we can release those negative things that are going on inside. And it's similar to this picture as we would remove weeds from a flower or a vegetable garden in order to give the desired plants room to grow. We remove weeds or thoughts from our minds to prepare room for building spiritual assets. In Concentric Perspective, it was by Eric Butterworth, he reminds us, if we want to progress spiritually, we must get rid of old frames of reference. So if you insist on holding on to things like an anthropomorphic God or the need to nurture past hurts or disagreements, you will look outside yourself for answers that really you should be looking within. So as we awaken spiritually, we shed old ways of being that no longer align with our expanding awareness. And we embrace a higher consciousness filled with peace and clarity. And we create space to embrace a new, more spiritually enriching practice which supports our current beliefs and our truth principles. So spiritual release is a gentle cleansing to release our regrets and our worries and our past mistakes. It frees us to shift our attention to our true divine nature. We release a strong sense of identity with our finite physical self, and we allow our divine selves to rise into prominence in all things that we say and all things that we do. We release ideas of God that is separate from us, knowing that divine spirit flows from within and moves through and as us. So be willing to release the old you. Break the bonds of the past that interfere with you being the very best you that you can be. The power of release is therapeutic. It's cleansing. It unclutters your consciousness and your life. So what are you holding on to? What would you be willing to let go of? What story or drama or situation have you been holding on to that someday you think, I'm going to fix that one day? And what if today you're willing to practice the spiritual practice of release, of letting go? Can you imagine your life being better from simply letting go? There's an affirmation I wanted to share with you. The Christ in me now frees me from all resentments or attachments to people, places, and things. We all have extraordinary within us waiting to be released. And that's a quote by Jean Houston that I thought was perfect for today. So let's take these ideas into meditation. I'd just like you to find a comfortable position in your chair and take in a few deep, relaxing breaths. Rest your eyes if that's comfortable for you. With each breath, relax your body, quiet your mind. Release all outer concerns, like clouds that float away. Turning inward to that sacred place, we center ourselves in the peace and the presence of Spirit. Feel the love of divine Spirit within your heart, within your soul, within your mind. Open your mind, your heart, and your soul to the deepest level of release. That whatever you've been holding on to, whatever fear, concerns, upsets, resentments, or disappointments, that today we move into the deepest level of release. Today we let go and trust that divine Spirit is right here for you. And in this moment, healing begins. Feel your extraordinary soul reborn. Whatever you give up in the presence of Spirit is instantly purified and comes back as grace. If there is anything in your heart, let the power of release let it go. If there is anything holding you down, if there is anything that makes you feel overwhelmed, today we release it all. We let it go. And we feel our souls rise up. We open the space for Spirit's grace. Search your heart, search your soul. Divine Spirit, reveal any places where I've been holding on to upset or resentments. I release it. May I be filled with the grace and the love of God. We move into a moment of silence with this affirmation. The Christ in me now frees me from all resentments or attachments to people, places, and things. Returning to this space, gently move your hands and feet. Open your eyes when you are ready. We are so grateful to be in the flow of Spirit's love and grace, and so it is. Amen.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. We are one now, 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 we are one now.
So now is the time for our offertory blessing. And there are many ways to give to Unity on the Avenue. Some people put in checks or cash in the offering plate. We do have a square in the back of the room. And we also have a donation button on our website that you could donate. And I just want you to know we appreciate so much everything that you give. It goes towards, of course, just supporting our building and our sanctuary, our space. But we also help out with other nonprofits. And this is the one that we did yesterday, actually. We help out with Colorado Feeding Kids this month. And yesterday, we were enjoying the music as I talked over the music. And it was beautiful. It was really a wonderful day. So that's what we did yesterday. So join me in our blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
I forgive me, I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender, I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change.
So I think we can do our prayer for protection. Please join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
All is well in my soul. All is well in my soul. Wherever I am, wherever I go, all is well in my soul. All is well in my soul. All is well in my soul.